Hey, you guys. Today I'm making my emulsified body butters, and I'm starting off with the oil phase. And right now I am adding my hard butters. I took that out because I had forgot to tear the scale, so I want to tear it back. But my hard oils include shea butter and mango butter, so I'm measuring them out and adding them to my beaker there. And we already know the properties of those, like, everybody love a good whip butter, but the emulsify version add the whip factor and the non-greasy factor to give you like the perfect combination. Now I'm adding my liquid oils. I use grapeseed oil and sunflower oil in my butters. That was the sunflower first, and now I'm adding my grapeseed oil. And when you're making your own butters, you can research like the different oils and butters and decide what's best for you and what you would like to use based on, And now I am adding stearic acid. So what stearic acid does, it reduces their surface tension and allows the butter to like spread onto the skin a lot easier. And it also could be a thickener, but it's not the primary thicker. It really is for like helping it glide and that silky feeling. Now this is the thickener. So this is my emulsifying wax, and I'm adding that onto there. So that is what helps bind the oils with the water phase and also help to kind of thicken that thing up. So now I'm getting ready to do my water phase. And the first part of water phase is just that, water. And I use distilled water. Now I'm adding my glycerin. That's a humectant, so we know that it helps, to draw in more moisture to that skin. You don't want to put too much because it will get sticky if you add too much. Now I also add sodium lactate. That also helps with hydration to draw all of that moisture into your skin. Now I'm covering it. So I had forgot that I needed to like weigh the whole thing out first. So I had to tear the scale to weigh it all out again before I covered it up. Because now I know how much my total water phase is. So after, we boil it, we want to make sure we add any water that we lost back into it. So I'm covering that up. All of that will go onto my double boiler method. So I cut out all that wait time. So while it's actually boiling and melting down, I'm weighing out all of my cool down phase items. And I'm starting off with my arrowroot powder. And that also helps to like cut down the greasiness from the butters and the oils. You could think of arrowroot powder as like, similar to starch and all the other stuff, like when you're cooking. Next, I'm measuring out my fragrance oil. So I had made a mistake over here. I pulled the wrong second fragrance because I blend all of my fragrance oil, and I pulled the wrong one for the second one. So then I decided to go ahead and just cut this batch in half and because I didn't want to waste it and just like make half of it with the wrong fragrance and then half of it with the correct one. So this is the wrong one here. I don't think I added the correct one in this recording because the fragrance oil is a fragrance oil. Now I am doing my vitamin E and my preservative. You know, you got to tear that scale. You don't want it to, you know, you want to make sure you got your measurements right. I think that's the vitamin E. They're both come in the same bottle. I can't remember which came first, but and so the items that go into the cool down phase, you don't want to mix them in one. You know, they don't go in water or oil, and they're like temperature dependent. Except for the arrowroot powder, I just add it to the cool down phase because I don't know. I feel like it just makes more sense. So now I am done measuring out my cool down phase items. Continue to wait on my butters to melt down. Fast forward, they done. And so there's the oil. Then I remembered I need to go ahead and weigh my water again, make sure I didn't lose any water. And I've after doing this over and over, I've realized like I never really lose water because I cover it up. It doesn't evaporate into anywhere. It falls right back into it. But I've been checking just to make sure. But I think eventually when I feel a little bit more confident, I'll just go with it. So I weighed it. It's the same. That's why you don't see me adding any more water. Now we're about to see magic happen. This is like my favorite part of making my body creams. Like there's that lotion. There it is right there. It's like you can see it immediately like turning. And that is actually, you know, that emulsifying wax like starting to bind that the water phase and the oil phase together. You know, I was trying to get every last drop. And you'll see me do this. It's funny because as I was watching myself back do this, I was like, girl, if you don't stop trying to scrape up every single drop off of these tools and keep it moving. So now I'm using my immersion blender and I'm blending that thing in so it could get all mixed in and bind together. See, I really wish I could like let y'all hear the ASMR, but ain't no ASMR. I got, you hear me stemming in the background and then like the background music that I have. Just that's all you hear. Ain't no ASMR. So sorry for you ASMR folks, you're not gonna hear like the liquid pouring and all of that other stuff. I can't do a version of that because you would just hear me stemming. So I blended it up a bit and now I'm just waiting for it to cool down. So it's been sitting for a second and you'll see me go in there with the temperature gun just to check the temperature. So I could, you know, ensure what the temperature is before I add my cool down methods because I don't want to, you know, make the preservative not stable. So it needs to be added in at a particular temperature. So doing that. Oh, wait, I lied. I was actually adding the arrowroot powder first. That's what I usually do because I don't feel like there needs to be a particular temperature for the arrowroot powder, but I prefer to add it during the cool down process. So this is the part I was like, girl, why are you doing all of that? It ain't even that serious. It's just a little bit. But hey, when you're a small business, you just getting started, you're like, let me make sure I scrape up every little last bit. Okay? So let's pray for me by like 6 months from now. I'm big enough where I don't feel like I have to scrape every last bit. So here's me adding the arrowroot powder. And this is a small batch that I'm making. I was making samples to add to some goodie bags for some folks. See, trying to scrape up every last bit. Like, girl, I'm gonna stop doing that, because me watching it back, I'm like, what are you scraping? And so what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I actually put the blender right over the powder so it won't poof back up into my face. So I'm blending that in, make sure there's no clumps. Girl, how long are you gonna be blending that? I think that's just me, like, trying to really make sure I ain't got no clumps in there. Okay, now this is where I kind of let it cool down a little bit, and I'll start checking the temperature with the I don't know, my thermometer gun, temperature gun, whatever the heck it's called. Here I go, trying to scrape up every last bit. Like, why am I even doing that? I should have just left the thing in there. But I guess I don't want it to like turn to lotion on there or like body cream on there, because then it's harder to get it off. Now I don't know where to put it. That's why I was like hovering, like I gotta go get me a little. I'm pretty sure I was like trying to grab a paper towel. All right, here's the temperature gun part. See, that's too high. So it's sitting for a while. You won't see it sit because, you know, we cut all of that out. But it's sitting. Sitting. And I'm going to hit it with that gun again. All right. That seems about right to me. Well, maybe it wasn't. There we go. It was like 100 now. So now I'm adding the vitamin E and the preservative, because remember, I made a mistake and started and made the wrong blend. So I'm going to, after I put the vitamin E and such in, I'm going to blend it all in there. Then I'm going to split my batch in two. The other fragrance I made, it was pretty, you know, it was pretty good. It was all right. Like, it smells closer to like my matcha green tea bar. I might just like give it away to like a family member, friend or something, see if they want to try it out, because I already got my stack at the house. You know, every time I make some, I make a little extra for me and my parents. Here, you about to see me go ahead and scrape this thing again. We gonna pray that within 6 months I'm gonna be making enough or big enough that I don't feel like I need to scrape every single drop off of these utensils. You see that? That's the goal. So just help me get there. Yes, girl. Get every drop. Let me tell you, I perfected the art of scraping every drop off of these things. Like when I go wash these dishes, they don't have anything on them. So now I'm about to blend that back up. So what I was originally making is my peach Bellini, and that is like the crowd favorite at my vendor events. Like I always sell out. Well, I've only done 2 vendor events so far, but I've sold out both times, and it smells so good. Like it's like grown and sexy, but fruity at the same time. So I like it. Yeah, so here I go, splitting the batch. It's still liquidy, so you'll notice that it'll be liquid. As it cools down, then it starts thickening like a body cream or lotion consistency. So if you want it to be like more watery and lotion consistency, you add more water. And I wanted it more body cream consistency, so I have less water than I would have for lotion and more of that emulsifying wax and stearic acid in there. So I'm putting that to the side. That's going to be the mistake batch. Now I'm going to add my fragrance oil blend for my peach Bellini. I'm surprised I ain't scraped the bottom of that to make sure I got all the fragrance oil. I'm gonna go ahead and blend that in. This is like a really small batch, so I don't need to blend it too long. I'm trying to get the sides incorporated into it, when I was pouring it out. Here I go. I'm like, girl, you better get all of that peach Bellini. Don't waste not one drop. Again, what's the goal? 6 months from now, I don't need to be doing this. And I don't think it makes it really, like, looking at this, like, how much more is it really adding or removing? Not a lot. So I know some people, they let it thicken up a bit and then they pipe it. Again, I don't want to waste a lot of it into that bag, so I pour it while it's still in kind of liquid into the containers, and I leave the container open and let it, cool down and thicken up, and then I'll close them. To me, I just, it'll all look the same either way, and it's easier to pour and not having to like buy extra materials and extra things. It's just lotion, and I don't do or body cream, and I'm not I don't plan on adding all of the fancy colors and such because I just, you know, I don't, that's not the aesthetic of my brand, at least for the body creams. So that's how I do it. If you do close the tops while it's, warm, it'll condensate and have all of that stuff on there. So that's why I leave them open and let them dry. Sometimes I leave it open overnight because I tend to work later in the evening because I got a day job. So I let them cool down overnight and then I'll close them in the morning. Leave them in my, workspace that I have, or office space, or studio space, or whatever it's called. So now we're about to work with this mistake batch. It started thickening up already because again, this is a smaller batch, so of course it thickens up. And then as you can tell in that jar over there, it was a little bit more, so I still had some peach bellini on that side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix it all in. After I mix this, I didn't use the emulsified blender for this one, immersion blender. I didn't use that. I just decided to go ahead and hand whipped it because again, it's not going to anyone. As you see how it's starting to thicken up right there. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just add this to the batch. As I was adding it, because I only sanitized a few, it was 4 of those little thingies, and I'm thinking, oh shoot, where am I gonna do? Look at that. Go ahead, scrape, girl. Get every last drop. So I decided to go ahead and just do it by hand. And I actually like this consistency that I got it to before pouring it. And I think I might try that when I'm making my larger ones, getting it a little bit more creamy but still loose, and then pouring, because I like how the top looked on the in the jar versus when I pour it from there, because sometimes it's a little foamy at the top. They still get the whole, the full weight because I weigh them on the scale. But when I pour it liquid, and sometimes it bubbles up from the blending, so sometimes the top is a little bit foamy, where here everything was creamy and consistent throughout. So I think I'll do that moving forward. We'll see. Me again, I gotta get every last drop. Now I'm about to finish scraping. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring it into the 2 jars. And I still had a little bit left over. I kind of overfilled them a little bit, or filled it up to the rim. And then I was trying to get some of the lumps out. So it started warming up. Cooling down. And so some of it was the parts that are already cool were lumping. So I kind of getting the consistency. Now I'm going to pour that in. You see, it's less watery, but it's a little bit thicker now. I like this consistency for pouring, just because the after effect, it does look nicer. The tops, the other tops are it's nice and flat though. Yeah. So I'm pouring that in there. I had another one, and then off camera, I poured the rest into some jars that I already had, that I was already using, because being my personal one, who cares if I mix all these scents together. I'm pouring that in there again, but you can see the difference of this consistency with the first one. So as it cools down, it gets thicker. You about to see me try to scrape up and put every last one in there. That's when I was like, girl, let that go. And then I off screen put it in another jar. You see, I am not trying to waste not one drop of that thing, okay? You're gonna see me trying to top it off some more, trying to get it as, as full as possible without. Come back again. But this is the end of the video, and thanks for watching.